Now, with me and Trina, I asked Trina if she knew. Did he ever abuse you again physically? I do know about like the emotional abuse. Like, was there ever another time where like
Yeah,
he?
and
Yeah.
he knocked the pan. He hit the pan, knocked the pan off the stove. Like I said, while the bacon was frying, knocked it and was getting ready to hit me. Well, he did take the pan and swing on me, but I blocked my head. Like I had my hand like this, like blocked my hand, and he burnt me. So I had a burn right there. So he was hitting me, like trying to hit me in the head with the pan. And then he pushed me in the front. And he told me to get out. Like I said, and I didn't have no shoes on. I remember I didn't have no shoes on, so he told me to get out. I said get out. So I was walking towards the door or whatever like that. Then he said, "No, you're not coming. You're not going nowhere." Like, then he slapped me in the face. Like I said, he bust my lip, so my lip was bleeding. Like I said, so then I mean I don't like to really recite these terrible moments, whatever like that, because it bothers me. Right. But after he slapped me, like I said, then he told me like, "See, you ain't going nowhere." So then he took me in the room and he raped me. He pulled the knife out on me one day. We was fighting again, and he was like, I'm gonna tell you this is the ordeal, because what led up to that this incident, the brothers came over. Like I said, two brothers came over, and they were talking to us. Like they was talking to us, like I said, about I guess encouraging us to come back to the hall, because we was kind of not really coming. He wasn't coming, basically I was, but I was studying with this particular brother's wife. Like I said, in order to try to get myself back together spiritually, and he was talking, and he was basically trying to blame everything on me. I'm stressing him out. I'm taking him through this. I'm taking him through that. He's sick, and I'm doing it. Basically, everything was my fault. So one of the brothers that liked him and his family sided with him. Was like, oh, basically, well, look. I mean, my wife doesn't go, whatever. Like, my wife doesn't go to hall, and blah blah blah. Look at what she put me through. I mean, what I had to deal with, whatever the case may be. So then I jumped out, and like I said, I mean, so when he was saying and trying to make me, I said, well, yeah, he's telling you all this, but do he tell you he hit me? He physically abuses me? And then it shut it. Then they was like, they kind of froze, like, what? Yeah, they were surprised, like, you put your hand on it? What? You're not supposed to, according to the Bible, you're not supposed to do that, whatever like that. So basically, he felt like, oh, you told on me. So basically, he felt like you told on me, whatever like that. So they were counseling him on that, whatever like, and he didn't like that, because it felt like, oh, she exposed me for what I was doing or whatever. So basically, after that, they left. And he was going to his mom house, so he stormed out the door and he left. Like I said, he left, and where we used to park, remember by the side of y'all window, where the car was parked right there, and he was sitting there, like I said, stuff, and I was watching him. He was sitting there, like I said, and I had my clothes on, I had my shoes on, and everything like that. So he was sitting there, just looking, I guess, enough to like work up anger or whatever like that. So what he was doing, like he was sitting there. So then he finally, after a while, he got out the car, slammed the door, and was storming back in there. But by this time, like she said, before he came in there, I went out the door, and because we lived in an apartment where you can go out one side or go out the other side, I left out the other side. So when he came in, he was looking for me. He didn't know I was gone. Like I said, stuff. So I went and I hid in another building. I hid in the building next door to us. Like I said, I hid because he was circling. I seen him driving around looking for me, driving around. He was driving around looking for me, like where did she go? Where did she go? So I stayed in the apartment, like looking at him driving around, because he was trying to figure out where I was, where I was. So basically, I say like maybe a half hour or whatever like that went by, and then I ran to a bus stop. Like I said, and I jumped on a bus stop. And I went to Miss Rose's house. I went to Philly, and I called your dad, and I told your dad to bring y'all to Miss Rose's house. So by this time, this is what I told your dad, everything. Like I said, I told your dad what was going on. Like I said, because I told him not to bring y'all home. Like I said, because I wasn't gonna be there, and I told him, I explained to him why. So when he brought y'all to Philly to my mom's friend's house, that's when I explained what was going on, and your dad was pissed. Like I said, stuff. So your dad basically wanted to eliminate him, basically, and that's when everything, like I said, I just told everything, and I was telling. So by that time, like I said, I just felt, I guess, free. Like I said, then I told my mother, I told Ms. Rose, like I said, I just started getting it out, because I kept it all concealed, and that bothered me too. Like I said, I just kept it all inside, like I said, and once it came out, I just like it was like a sign of relief. I needed to get it out, like I said, not just to to talk to my therapist. Like I said, I needed to to get it out and stuff. And basically, that's what I did. Like I said, stuff. So then and it became easier. Like I said, stuff like that. So when he was exposed for what he was doing and what he was, like I said, I started feeling I started feeling better. Like I said, so then.
Well, one question that Trina was confused about, and to me to a certain extent, but I didn't look too deeply into it. She was so frustrated with you because she couldn't figure out why you stayed. Like, she wanted to know like why you didn't leave. And I know you just spoke on why, but her frustration was coming from the fact that like, why didn't you leave from that situation? Like after, us seeing what was going on, like why didn't you just like almost like pick up and go? And of course, it probably wasn't that easy.
It wasn't.
We were kids, so
Yeah.
we're thinking everything's super easy. But
Right.
her frustration came from the fact like why you just didn't remove yourself from that situation.
Well, first of all, like I said, you have to think about it. Like I said, where I have went.
Right.
Like I said, I don't have no family. Like I said, that I don't come from no family with a lot of money or whatever case may be. Where somebody, oh, you can come live with me. It wasn't like that.
Right.
It wasn't like you can come live with me, and not just that. Me living by Bible principles or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I just was trying to be that good wife. Like I said, trying to be, like I said, that wife. Not saying that because, like I said, I'm gonna tell you. Let me clarify this because Jehovah don't say stay in an abusive relationship. No, you're supposed to get out. Like I said, you are supposed to get out. That's when you can take your leave and take your children to leave. But I felt that I didn't have nowhere to go. Like I said, I mean, I didn't. I don't have a mom that she was living with. She was living at a place, like I said, and she was living with somebody at the time, another sister. It was no room, like I said, stuff, and I just felt I had nowhere to go. Like I said, so that's the reason why I didn't leave. Not so much that I wanted to stay and say, oh, let me stay and be abused or whatever case may be. At that time, like I said, when you're going through all that, you don't think. You don't be in your right frame of mind. You don't think. My thing was, like I said, I wasn't like, I was just going through so much. I wasn't in my right frame of mind, and I just felt like I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to go, who to turn to, who I could trust, or whatever like that. So that's why I basically stayed at the time. Like I said, not to stay to get my head knocked off or whatever the case would be, but at the time, like I said, I didn't
just
know.
Feeling boxed
I was and I felt trapped. That's why I felt trapped. Like I didn't feel that I had nowhere to go or where could I go? Like I said, or whatever the case would be. And although I did start sharing it with people, I didn't share it with everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff. And then, like I said, people tend to judge you on certain things like that. And I was judged, you know what I'm saying, on certain things like that, which hurt even more. But what I'm saying is, like I said, at that time, I just didn't feel I had nowhere to go or nobody to turn to, and I just didn't know who I could trust at the time. So that's the reason why I stayed.
Okay. Just to turn subjects a bit, if you could, and that I learned stuff I didn't know, but if you can run through the day that you found out that he cheated on you, the very first day, where you already told me this story, but if you kind of can share what happened that day. In other words, when you went over.
Led up to that.
Right. Correct.
Man. Well, this day, like I said, we was going to do overtime on a Saturday. Me and my coworker, we was going to do overtime on a Saturday. He used to always hang around this male.
Wait, no, time out. By this time, in the situation, just to tell the camera for the people, they weren't living together. Like y'all were separated.
Yep.
Separated to where we were living in the apartment, and he was also living in an apartment, but another apartment. So he was in like another building, but he was in the same complex. So we could get to him, he can get to us, or whatever. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Anyway,
Okay. So you're basically saying what happened the day the camera kind of overheated, so we had to stop it for a second. But if you can just again tell us the day that you found out that he was cheating or whatever.
well, basically, like I said, I had to. It was a day where we was going to do overtime Saturday. We had to work on a Saturday, me and a coworker, and a friend that he used to hang with at work, like I said, a homosexual guy, I'll say. At work, he used to always hang around this guy. He had bought. It used to be a time, like I said, where in Philly, where you could buy dishes. Like I said, people used to sell like different things, like you can buy pots and pans, or you can buy like a dishware set or whatever the case may be. So he purchased a dishware set. So the guy got the dishware set for him. So basically, he called me because he knew, like I said, we all worked together. We all worked at the same job. And he asked me would I take it to him. Like I said, he said his dishes came, like, would I take it to him or whatever. And I asked him why couldn't he take it? Whatever like that. And he said, well, I guess he wasn't going to be up there, but he gave some type of excuse or whatever why he couldn't take it or whatever. Point blank, okay, I said, yeah, all right. Like I said, whatever. So before Saturday, what happened was Saturday morning when I got up, I was getting ready to meet my coworker. Like I said, I was going to meet her, like I said, on the boulevard. I was going to meet her, and I called his house, like I said, to take the dishes over there before I left. So I called over on the boulevard to, I'm called the person, like called his house, like I said, and his brother answered the phone. Put it that way. His brother answered the phone. So I told him the situation. Well, your brother purchased some dishes from, this guy, and I was going to give it to him because I'm on my way to work. So he said, okay. Like I said, whatever. I said, I just want to let you know I'm coming over. So when I get over there, the door is open already. Like the door is cracked. Like cracked a little bit. And I kind of felt strange about it, like I said, stuff like I didn't want to go in, like I said, because, like I said, the way he was, like I said,
Right, and after the abuse. And
yeah,
everything,
yeah, right. I didn't trust him, like I said. So my point, like I didn't want to go in and trust him. I didn't know if he was behind the door or if he was going to try to do something to me or not, whatever like that. So I didn't trust going in. So I knocked on the door, not loud, like I said, stuff like knocked on the door, and nobody came. Nobody would come to the door. So I stood there for a minute, like I said, stood there, like just thinking. I was kind of puzzled, whatever like that. But I know I was on a time schedule because I had to go meet my coworker. And I'm sitting up there and I'm standing there for a couple more seconds, and I'm looking like knocked again, like I said, and nobody still would come. So I said me a silent prayer, like I said. So then I kind of pushed the door open. When I pushed the door open, his brother was laying like on a futon bed, like on a couch, like with his leg on one of his legs on the couch and one of them off. But he had his hand like kind of over his eye or whatever like that. So I said, "Where's your brother?" He pointed. He didn't say, never opened his mouth. He just pointed towards the bedroom door. So as I was going towards the bedroom door, I seen something move. Like so I put the dishes in the kitchen, like whatever it is, his dishes in the kitchen. So I basically was just going to, say hi, whatever like that. Just let him know what I got your dishes or whatever. In case just let him know what I was going to do. So basically, as I was going towards the back, I seen something move, and I still like didn't dawn on me, whatever case may be, and it just seemed like it's all played out in slow motion, but it didn't. Like I said, but that's just how it came. So I was walking. As I was getting closer, I see somebody moving. And so he jumps out the bed, and when he jumped out the bed, I see a man in the bed. And by this time, me and this man is eye to eye. We like looking at each other, and I just froze. Like I said, I froze. So he basically tried to put the cover over the man's head, and I just backed up. I backed up. I just started backing up, and after that, he ran out the room, tried to close the door, whatever case may be, and was looking down, scratching his head, kind of scratching his head, because he couldn't face me. I kind of scratching his head, and I just backed up, and I just told him, well, I just came to leave you, your dishes or whatever like that, and I walked out. Like I said, I walked out, and that's when I lost it. Like I said, so I lost it, and I started crying, and I started like cussing and just saying all stuff. I couldn't believe that this guy is. Look, can I say it?
You can say it.
I say I can't believe he was a faggot. Can't believe he was a faggot. I'm not gonna curse like I said, but at the time, like I said, that's what I said. Like I said, he was an MF.
Disclaimer: we're not coming at people who are homosexuals. This is something that happened at a particular time where just saying the word faggot wasn't extremely derogatory as it is now. We know everybody is sensitive, so when she says faggot, it's not from a place of her trying to be ignorant towards anybody who may be homosexual. It's coming from a place of being angry at the fact that you just found out that your husband is gay and cheated on you and you didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So basically, if they want the truth, that's the truth. That's how I felt. Like I said at the time. Like I said, and like I said, no, it wasn't like you said nothing against homosexuals or whatever like that. It wasn't nothing like that. Like you said, you just explained it.
Right.
But at the time, I was hurt. I felt betrayed. I felt used, and after all abuse that I took from this gay guy, like I said, I felt I should have whipped his behind. Like I said, stuff. And like I said, at the time, like I said, I'm not gonna curse, but I was cursing. Like I said, because I just literally lost it. And I was walking around like in a daze because I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Like I said, I just didn't want to believe it. Like I said, I just couldn't believe it. Like I said, and then basically I had to go meet my coworker, and when I met her, like I said, my eyes were full of tears, and I was really upset. And she asked me, like I said, what was going on and stuff. And then I basically broke down and told her. Like I said, I told her, like I said, and I was just like, so hurt, and I had to go to work with all that on me. So then basically, like I said, when I got to work, after that, I called my girlfriend and told her. Like I said, then I called my mom. Like I said, but by this time, like I said, I didn't care who knew now. Like I said, because I felt that through everything, like I said, I went through, like in that relationship or whatever like that, the stuff that was coming out, the stuff that he done, like I said, and how evil and how mean he was to me and my children. Like I said, that I always tried to protect him. Like I said, keep stuff concealed. Like I said, but now this was my time to speak. Right. So basically, I started getting it out. Like I said, I started talking. And then, like my mother told me, she said, "Watch. Let me tell you how the devil works." Like she said, he's home, trying to come up with the lie, to try to make you think you're crazy, that you didn't see what you saw. So she said, don't be surprised if he called you. He's going to call you. Like I said, he's going to call you. After get himself together a couple days ago, he's going to try to make it seem like I said, that you didn't see. And true to this day, she was exactly right. Like I said, he did. like a couple days later, try to make it seem like, oh, I didn't see what I saw or whatever like that.
So what did he say you saw?
Oh, it wasn't like that. He said something about it wasn't like that, and what did he say? It wasn't like that.
Sleepover?
Yeah, it was a friend, like I said, whatever like that. It wasn't like that. And like I told him, like you said, nothing towards homosexuals. Like I said, you a faggot or whatever like that. Now I know the truth about you, whatever case may be. Oh, it wasn't like that. You know, it wasn't this, that, and the other, whatever. I said, you don't, as this day for you ain't got to ever worry about it again. And like I said, now this time, like I said, my mother's friend, who was nice, like I said, because one day he walked in on me, she gave me money to get my locks changed on my door. I got them changed. Now, however, where we were living at, the manager at the time liked him too, and she didn't believe that he was violent or he was doing some of the things that he was doing. She couldn't believe it. But like I told her, no, I want my locks changed, so I paid for them to change the locks, and they changed them and whatever. Because one day he said, well, I'm gonna come over there, and he tried to come over. At one point, he tried to come over, and he couldn't. Like I said, stuff. And then he told me that I wasn't right because I got the locks changed or whatever the case may be, because he had a key still to the apartment we was sharing. And like I said, I don't have a key to your apartment, so you're not gonna have a key to mine. Like I said, so basically, he used to always still try to do things. He would call me every day. Then it got to the point where every day he would have his friend, this homosexual guy, walk by my desk at 8 o'clock every day, 8 o'clock, just like clockwork. They walk past my desk, and I would see him, and then the phone would ring. Like I said, so he would go sit back and tell him, yeah, she's at her desk, and he would call. So what I started doing, like my mother told me, why do you feel that you had to talk to him? And at one point, I felt that I had to talk to him, and I would just talk to him. But basically, he used to take all his anger out on me, like I was the one that did it, gave that to him.
Verbal abuse, and
right?
emotional abuse.
Yeah, there you go. And like my mother said, you don't have to punish yourself. You don't have to listen to that. Like I said, you don't have to listen. Why are you listening to that? And I again thought, being a wife, I had to, whatever like that. So like I said, basically with my therapy and me start getting it out in the open and stuff like that, I started getting better. I started getting stronger. So basically, every time the phone would ring, I would have different coworkers who knew the situation. Like I said, they would pick up the phone, say that I was in a meeting, and say I wasn't at my desk or whatever the case may be, and I never spoke to him again. Like I said, I never would talk to him anymore. Basically, so that's when I started healing. And not just that at one point, like I said, it just was like I said, at first it was hard. Like I said, I just thought I had to do that. I had to. This is a part of being a wife. But being abused is not a part of being a wife. Like I said, nobody deserves to be abused. Nobody has to be abused, or so. Like I said, I didn't learn that till later on. Like I said, it was a process. It didn't just come naturally. It didn't just come easily. It took time for me to get to that point. Like I said, and at that point, like I said, basically, I was thankful that I have people who knew the type of woman I was, knew the type of person I was, who really, like I said, believed in me, whatever, like that, no type of person I was, and see how he was, and see how mean and evil he was, like I said, and see the stuff that he used to do, like I said, or whatever the case may be, and know that I wasn't making stuff up, and I wasn't just trying to lie on, like I said. So basically, like I said, that's how that issue came about then.
And you also said it affected your self-esteem too.
Yeah, it did.
For the fact that it not only was him cheating, but cheating with a guy, it kind of almost does something else to you, I'm guessing, to where it's like, well, dag, you didn't even cheat the conventional way, like you went all the way to the left.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so all right, but if you could, because I don't know the order of it, I think I was too young to know the order as to what happened first between the situations. For the people watching, we're kind of jumping through different segments or whatever, and I too don't know the chronological order of it all, but if you could, because you actually did touch on it a very little bit about his health, so if you could, I guess, run us through the first time you found out what you found out about his health issue.